Okay, so hi everybody and welcome to the webinar. It's time for Outrageous Marketing, the webinar. You know, this idea of outrageous marketing came out of a book I read recently called Marketing Outrageously by John Spolestra, who was the manager and marketing guy with several professional and minor sports teams. And he produced amazing results with some great ideas. And it was very inspiring to me. And I'm really not covering his ideas in this session, but it's definitely influencing how I'm thinking right now about marketing. We need to be more outrageous. So the question is, and this is one of the questions John asks, what will it take to get a particular result? What will it take to make it happen? What will it take to go beyond what we have done before? What will it take to develop a repeatable system to attract all the clients you need? You know, I think that's a big question. Wouldn't everybody like that? A repeatable system, attract all the clients you need. So what will it take to do that? And that's what we're going to talk about today, exactly that. So here's the question. Are you earning what you're worth right now? You know, you're educated, you're smart, you decided to go into business for yourself. Many of you have been in business for a long time, but are you earning what you're worth? Are you trading time for money and have hit an earning ceiling? This is true for so many people. Well, I can make $100,000, maybe $200,000 a year. I really don't have a system, a process, or anything that could really get me past that. So is that possible? So that's one of the things we're going to address today. And also, this is absolutely essential for us to include in this. How are you dealing with the new normal? You know, with the lockdown, the coronavirus pandemic, et cetera, et cetera. Do you feel any of these things? Stressed, anxious, freaked out, afraid, oblivious, uncertain, confused? You know, I've experienced all of those to some degree. And you can imagine if you're experiencing those, your clients are also experiencing those as well. So it is a tricky time to do business. It's a tricky time to work at getting new clients. We really have to take all of these things into consideration. So your client situation might be summed up by some of these ideas. Their priorities have really changed. Maybe they were really oriented towards growth. The economy was pretty good before the pandemic hit. They were planning to expand. The pandemic hit and everything turned around completely. It's more about surviving and hopefully thriving, not growing right now. Fear and uncertainty reign. What's going to happen? Where's it going to go? What about all my employees that I have to lay off? Can I have them work virtually? You know, I haven't had to go through as much angst as I can imagine CEOs have. You know, it has really, really been a challenging time. And what will the future bring? Nobody knows for sure. We don't know how long exactly this is going to last, and will my company survive right now or not? And, you know, what is their state of mind right now? Am I positive? Am I willing to take risks, or am I being very careful and playing it as safe as possible? Can you relate to all of this? I hope you can, because that is the condition in which you are marketing your professional services into right now. So how are clients reacting? Well, they're cutting expenses to the bone in many cases. You know, if we don't need it, we're not going to spend it, because income for almost every company in the United States has been reduced dramatically. They're stretching out their cash on hand. You know, as long as we've got cash in the bank and we have some cash flow and we can keep most of our employees, you know, we'll stay safe, but we don't want to go beyond that. We're playing it safe. We're keeping it simple. You know, they don't want big, complex, complicated solutions. They want simple solutions, easy to understand, things that are easy for you to communicate so you can get their attention. The reality is there's change, there's challenge, there's turmoil, there's upset, there's all of these things going on right now. And the actions they want to take is to preserve, protect, pivot. They don't want to grow. They don't want to expand. They don't want to do any breakthrough things right now. They want to stay as safe as possible so that they can succeed and survive ultimately when they come out of the pandemic. So this is the new normal. Coronavirus is growing. If you've really been looking at the news, it's growing. Yesterday we had 62,000 new cases of coronavirus. In April, the peak, I think, was 45,000 new cases a day. So we thought we were going, we're going to unlock the country and get back to normal and do what we can. And especially the states that opened up a lot and opened up beaches, this, that, and the other thing. Well, pow, it's growing. And also, the deaths have not caught up with the new cases yet, but I just read an article today that they're starting to catch up. We were having 2,000 deaths a day. That had slowed down to as low as 400 a day just recently, but that's increased again to about 800, and now that is climbing as well. Okay, so this is the new normal. Coronavirus is growing, as I said. Opening up is slowing down. A lot of states were opening up, and now they're putting in more orders. Masks are suggested in places like Texas where they didn't want to do that, et cetera, et cetera. So it's deja vu all over again. And we need to take this very seriously for our businesses and understanding what our client businesses are going through. We need to pivot now. We need to pivot from what we've been doing. See, if you've been waiting around and saying, well, I'm okay right now. I got some cash reserves and I won't try to really grow anything right now, and I'll hope things will change in the next few months. Well, I don't think that's a good strategy anymore. I really don't. Unless you're ready to retire and you've got a lot of cash reserves, that'd be great for you. But the return to normal, look, the top experts, I've been doing a lot of research, are saying we're not really going to get back to normal for perhaps 12 to 18 months. Look, I'm not trying to scare you. This is just what I'm hearing. This is what association executives are saying. This is what airlines are saying. This is what everyone is saying that has really studied it. So if we're not doing our business differently than how we used to do our business, I think we're really in trouble. So you want to put your face mask on first. You've heard that saying, right? In the plane, you put your face mask on first. So what this means is you want to get your act together, your services together, your offering together, your presentation together, your whatever steps you need to take to reach out. So when you're talking to past clients and prospective clients, you actually take that conversation somewhere instead of, well, just how are you doing? And I hope you're doing all right. And hey, we're here for you. That really isn't enough. You've got to put on your marketing strategy so that you can move forward successfully. But what exactly do you do is the question. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So the very first thing is you got to have a strategy. So the strategy is, what are the services and programs that I'm going to offer now? Might be the same as what you've offered before, but it might be quite different. And of course, mostly those services and programs will be delivered virtually. So what is my strategy? What's my packaging? How am I going to package that strategy? So that means a sales letter, a presentation, a video, an executive summary of what it is I'm doing. So you have absolute clarity about what you're offering, and you can give materials to people, you know, a webinar as well, just like what I'm doing, so that you can communicate powerfully and clearly about what you're offering so they can see the value to them. I do a lot of work with clients on packaging. It's like, well, I'm offering this, and I look at the materials, and that wouldn't convince anybody to do anything. Then you need focus. You know, ultimately, it's great if you can have multiple streams of income, if you can work with several different kinds of programs, etc. But right now, I think the most important thing is to focus on one or two things, put your eggs in that basket, and really, really ramp it up with that particular program or service. And then you have to know, who are your prospects? Where are your prospects? How do you reach your prospects? How do you connect with your prospects? How do you get conversations with your prospects? And we'll be talking about that soon. And then what is the outreach method that you'll use? Will you do webinars? Will you reach people individually by phone, by email? Will you use social media? You have to have some kind of consistent outreach strategy designed to connect with the right people and have conversations. And once you've done the outreach, then you have to have a sales process. Again, this is something a lot of people simply don't have. I ask people, what's your sales process? They say, what do you mean? Well, what do you say? Well, I just talk to people. Do you have a certain number of questions you ask or things that you suggest? No, I never thought of that. So, you know, in my business, I've taught this, I've done it myself. And when you put all of these things together, the last one is delivering your system, this whole system, then you start to have a bulletproof marketing strategy. Strategy, packaging, focus, prospects, outreach, sales process. And you refine it and you work on it and you fine tune it until out the end, new clients come. Without this, it's kind of random. When I ask people, how do you attract clients? 80 to 90% people say one thing: I get new clients from referrals. In other words, I don't do anything to market. I pray that the clients that like my work talk about me and they send me new business. And that's great. If you're doing that, it shows that you're good at what you do. But if you don't have more than that, you really limit yourself to what's happening. And in the pandemic, I wouldn't be surprised if referrals have slowed down quite a bit. Might not be true for everybody. So now is the time to generate more activity, get out there more. So how do I know all of this? How do I get to know all of this? Well, because I've been marketing and delivering services virtually for 18 years. And I've been marketing in my business for 35 years. I've been at this for a long time. 10 years in, is it 10 years? 10 or 12 years in San Francisco, 7 years in Palo Alto, and now 18 years. God, it's hard to believe. 18 years here in Boulder Creek, California. So I've been doing this for a long time, and I've tried a lot of things, and I've tried a lot of things that haven't worked, and I've tried a lot of things that have worked, and I've found a way to repeat them, and I've shown people how they can do this and also market themselves virtually. And when I'm talking about marketing virtually, I don't necessarily mean marketing online, like selling programs online, selling services and books and stuff like that, but marketing your high-end professional services, consulting, coaching, training, using virtual means. See, I don't go anywhere. You know, here I am in my office. This is my office hideaway up in Boulder Creek. That's what this was taken about a year ago. Out the window there to the left, I look out on the river in my backyard. I'm isolated. I'm a 25-minute drive to Silicon Valley, 25-minute drive to Santa Cruz. So I'm at the top of the mountain here. And I don't go anywhere except to shop about one time a week and to take my dogs for a walk once a day for an hour, 5 minutes down the road. And I run my business virtually. I haven't gone to a networking event in years. I haven't given a live talk in years. I haven't met a potential client face to face in so long I can't remember. But I meet people on Zoom all the time and talk to them on the phone, and I work through my computer. Now, look, how virtual am I? I'm so virtual that I'm probably the only person in Western civilization who doesn't own a cell phone. I don't own a cell phone. Why? I don't need it. You see that phone on my desk? That's what I use. And almost always I talk to people on Zoom, but I don't need to have a cell phone. So that's, which is amazing because I don't like cell phones. So that's the possibility for your business. Now, some people might be there already, but if you want to do this and make money at it, this is what we're going to look at. But look, you already have the expertise. It's not like you have to learn new expertise. You have to sort of change your direction and your format perhaps, but you have leadership expertise. You have strategy expertise. You have technology expertise. You have financial expertise. You have operations expertise. You have HR, human resource expertise, or other areas of expertise in your business. You've already got that. Now you have to leverage it and go virtual. But first, before we even look at that, I want to ask the question, you ask the question for yourself, what business are you actually in? Are you in consulting? Are you in coaching? Are you in training? Well, I want to make an argument that you're not in any of those businesses. That's what you do. You do consulting, coaching, or training. But you really are in this business. You're in the business of improving your client's condition. You know, I got this from Alan Weiss years ago, and this really is. This is the outcome. This is what you're helping people to do. Improve their condition, make things better, save them things, increase things for them, improve communication, strategy, the technology, all these things that we do. That's what we're about. So where do you start with all of this? Well, you start with what I call your irresistible offer. A package or a program that is so irresistible, so valuable that people will be interested in it and want to know more. So there's a number of different components for an irresistible offer. First is, I think it should be outrageous. That is, real exciting, not like everybody else, really powerful. Not just, oh, well, I've heard that before, everyone else is doing that. Outrageous is when somebody says, tell me more about that. That sounds interesting. Outrageous is sort of a double-edged word, but it's an attention-getting word, so that's why I'm using it here. It also should be a service that's uniquely yours. You don't want to be a copycat and do exactly what someone else is doing. You want to sing from your own songbook, so to speak. What are you excited about? What can only you do based on your background and your experience and the clients that you've worked with and what you've read and what you've done and your philosophy and your psychology and all of that stuff? You want it to be you. And you want to have a program that's not to be missed. It's like you present this to someone and if they don't take advantage of it, they should be thinking, I really might miss out if I don't do this. This sounds really valuable. This sounds like it really could make a difference. If it just, it sounds like an interesting program, well, maybe, I don't know. That isn't something that people are going to sign up for right now. And it should be a program that's guaranteed in some way or other. I'll talk about guarantees a little bit later, but guarantees are very powerful. If you can guarantee what you offer, and I'm not talking usually about a money-back guarantee, but a satisfaction guarantee, and we'll make sure you get the results we promised. And you ought to have some passion in what you do. You know, I've had times in my business where my passion was really running low for whatever reason. And I tell you, it was harder to sign people up, harder to market, harder to get excited about delivering what I'm delivering. So you've got to find a way to tap into your passion. And, you know, the prime way to tap into your passion is to be of service and figure a way how you can really help people. And you know, that really generates a lot of energy. And you want your irresistible offer to be hype free. You know, no BS, no nonsense. And you want it to be for the right prospects. You know, if you're offering a great service to the wrong prospects, it's not going to work. So if you have all of these in your irresistible offer, you can imagine that more people are going to be interested. Pretty simple. So I have a little analogy here that I love, and this is probably going to be the most memorable part of this presentation: selling a can of beans. I don't know where I came up with this. Years ago, I came up with this, and I still use it. So I want you to imagine that you own a store and you sell beans, and you sell cans of beans, and the cans of beans that you sell are the smallest size can of beans. And then your wife says, hey, why don't we sell medium size as well? You know, a lot of people, you know, it's a better value if we sell medium size. So I say, okay, fine, let's sell medium sized cans of beans. And so you're selling those cans of beans and it's working out fine. Then you wonder, you know, we have, people can order really large cans of beans if they want it, but I notice no one ever comes into the store and orders a large can of beans. I wonder why that is. So you hire a consultant. You say, how come people never order large cans of beans or anything else, the gigantic jumbo size? And the consultant says the reason they don't buy them is because they are not on your shelf. It's as simple as that. People buy stuff on your shelf. If it's not on your shelf, they won't buy it. So why don't you put some gigantic jumbo extra size cans of beans on your shelf and see if they sell? And so they do, and guess what? Some people buy them. So I hope the analogy is pretty close. You know, you could be selling a small service, a medium-sized service, or you can be selling a big service, a more expensive service, a service that will provide a lot more to your clients than the small and medium-sized services. So this all starts with the ultimate outcome that comes out of whatever it is that you're offering. So when you're selling a can of beans, depending on the size, you have different ultimate outcomes. So if you're selling a small can of beans, the ultimate outcome is you feed one person. It's one meal. That's the outcome. If you have a medium size, well, it fits two people for one meal. That's the ultimate outcome. But if you have the big can, that feeds a big family. So that's the concept of the ultimate outcome. So how do we apply that to us? Every program or service starts with an ultimate outcome that you deliver. The thing is most services haven't articulated that ultimate outcome. They're really not clear about what it is. Well, you know, I do training on how to do this software program, but people don't buy processes, people buy outcomes. People don't buy what you do, people buy the future that you provide for them. So what is your ultimate outcome that you deliver? So in an HEOB program, that's a high-end outcome-based program. So this is what I recommend, creating HEOB programs. That's your big can of beans, so to speak. High-end and it's outcome-based. It has to have both of those components. It's high-end, it's more expensive, so you don't have to work with as many clients to make as much money. And it is a service that will produce the outcome that they want, that they're really looking for. So this is the question that I ask to come up with an HEOB program. If budget was not an issue, what is the program or service you'd offer to your clients that would produce that ultimate outcome? So it's really important to leave budget aside, because I say, well, why don't you create a big program? People say invariably, oh, well, I don't think my clients could afford that, and they stop before they even start. So I say, look, you want to produce results for your clients, right? You really want to produce something that makes a difference long term, right? And they say, yeah, I definitely want to do that. So let's forget about budget for now. You can work on budget later. It's an issue, but that's not the first thing you want to think about. You want to think is, what could I put in my program? What could I offer? How long would it be? What would I cover? Would I do this? Would I do that? And if I could do all of that, I know I would produce extraordinary results from my clients, with my clients. So what is the ultimate outcome you'd want your service or program to deliver? I want you to think about that. Write this down. This is homework for you after the webinar. What is that ultimate outcome you'd want your service or program to deliver? HEOB programs don't just earn you more money, they produce better results for your clients. See, it's a two-way street. It brings something back to you in terms of better income and also more satisfaction and fulfillment, and it gives great results and satisfaction to your clients. That is a great place to be. Look, I used to offer one-day workshops a number of years ago. I did a lot of one-day workshops. And, I don't know what it was, about 15 years ago or so, I traveled around the country and I did 11 workshops in 11 different cities. I booked the room, I scheduled the airfare, I got a room at the hotel, I delivered the workshop, I came home, I delivered another one. It was very expensive, very time consuming, and I didn't make a great amount of money. I had 20, 30, 40, sometimes more people in the workshops. It was $250 a person. But after it was all over, I was exhausted, for one, and I said, never again. I'm never doing one-day workshops, because I just didn't get a sense from doing that one-day workshops that most people will actually apply what I taught in the workshop. It was good information. There were great ideas. I think I delivered it pretty well. But, so what? After it's said and done, it's kind of dip and pray. You dip people into the workshop and you pray that something happens. And I said, that just isn't what I want. So I did a lot of, soul searching and work on this to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I created multi-month programs. That's when I created my mastery program. I said, and I asked myself that question, that breakthrough question, what would I offer that would really produce results? And I came up with a one-year program. Now, I've reduced that now to 9 months. I can do the same results in 9 months that I used to do in a year, which is great. But a multi-month program. And, I've never shared this before. This is the first time, but I saw someone else do it on a webinar. I want to show you, back when I started to do multi-month programs, I was doing pretty well. I was making $25,000, $27,000, $35,000 a month, $352,000 a year, selling these big programs. I had never even gotten close to that. But when I started to do these big programs, and at the same time, I also launched my More Clients Club, and I had several hundred members in the club. That's why there's so many people, so many orders there. It was mostly, those were small dollar orders. But, the bulk of the income, $20,000 or more, came from my big programs. So it can be done, and I have done it several times. I've done about 15 of these programs over the last 13 years, maybe more. So when you do these programs, you go from a vicious circle, the vicious circle of chasing after small clients, small amount of money, hourly fees, et cetera, to a virtuous circle where you're really providing big solutions to clients. They're very happy, and it works out better for everybody. That's what everyone really wants. So how do you reach your prospects is the next thing. So the first thing was you got to develop an irresistible HEOB program that will produce the results. Now, once you've got it, you've got to reach your prospects in some way. So look, these days especially, you start with your network. Who do you know? Who are your past clients, even your current clients? Who are people you've worked with a long time ago? Who's in your network? Who's on your email list? Who's in LinkedIn? Who else is in social media? Who are people that your clients could refer to you? Anybody in your warm network is where you start with right now. I've been having my clients in my programs reach out to their warm network, and in some cases, get all the business they can handle in a couple months just from past clients during the pandemic. Number 2, send simple emails. Emphasis on simple. An email that's 2 or 3 sentences. I tell this to people in my programs. I send me your emails and I'll give you feedback. And then they send me 27 freaking sentence emails. And I said, no, I was not kidding. 2 or 3 sentence emails. This is a breakthrough for a lot of people. So it might be, Hey, I've been thinking of you. How are you doing during the pandemic right now? I have some powerful ideas that I'm working with right now that I'd love to share with you. Maybe I could help in some way. Would you like to get together and chat for a few minutes? Now, there's a lot of variations on the theme, but things kind of like that tend to get response. And I was testing this, and I was reaching out to past clients and people in my networking and having conversations, and I got close to 100% response. I'm not promising you will, but most people that are doing it are getting a 50% response or better. People are willing to meet with you with a short email. Now, I've been thinking of you. You might reflect on something that you've seen them doing on their Easy and on social media or LinkedIn or whatever, or something but you don't even have to do that necessarily. And I've got something to share with you. Heck, you've created this HEOB program. You've got some new ideas. They might be interested. Number 3 is the first part of the conversation is after you do basic, how you doing, et cetera, et cetera. You don't want to spend a long time with a long story about, well, this is what I'm going through and this is what's happening and what do you do? You don't want to go into all of that. It's a waste of time. You want to get to as quickly as possible, but not abruptly. Hey, I wonder if there's a way I could help you. Look, I've been producing some great results for my clients right now. They're going through exactly the same kind of things you're going through. What's your biggest challenge right now? I'd be happy to give you a little bit of time right now and see if I can give you some ideas and insights. And give away your best ideas. Look, I'm giving you my best ideas right now. Not crappy ideas, ideas that really work. And then, after that, if you've given some ideas and they go, that sounds great, that sounds worth looking into, then you say, can I tell you more? I've developed a program that might be able to help you more. Is it worth having a more in-depth conversation about that? And some of them will say, sure, why not? After all, you just gave some of your valuable time with some good ideas, and they'll often be willing to talk more. And then you share your ultimate outcome. What this program does, what this service does, helps my clients get X result. So that better be the kind of result that they want. If they go, oh, we really don't need that, well, you've shot yourself down. So you got to really think through that service, the irresistible offer, and the ultimate outcome. Then comes the process of converting a prospective client into a paying client. So the very next thing you want to do, in most cases, you don't want to do a long sales conversation right then. You want to say, let me send you some more information. Here's what I've discovered, and this is a law of marketing. If someone is sincerely interested in what you're offering and what you can do for them, the only thing they want next is more information. They don't want a sales pitch yet. They want more information. I can help you, whatever the darn result is. And if they go, that sounds interesting, then they want more information. So you better have more information to send. That's the good information. Now, it might be a sales letter. It might be a PowerPoint presentation. It could be a video. It might be an executive summary, or it might be a webinar or a recorded webinar. It doesn't, it depends on your situation, who your clients are, how they consume information. So you got to figure out what's my best information piece. Then you hold what I call a strategy session, which you explore more about their situation and explain more about what you can do. That conversation doesn't feel like you're selling. It feels like you're looking at how you can help them, which is exactly what you're doing. And then you make your offer. Well, here it is. This is what we're doing. This is how we start. What do you think? One of my clients, I don't know if she's on the line. I don't think she is today, but she lost all her business when coronavirus hit. By April, it was all gone. So she started reaching out. She started doing this and reaching out to her clients and saying, how can I help you? And the first thing she did is give a free webinar. And she said, gee, maybe I should charge for this webinar. So she reached out to her biggest existing client and said, I just did this webinar about how to cope during the pandemic emotionally, and I thought you might be interested in taking a look at it. So she showed them the webinar, and they got back to her and said, hey, could you do this for our staff? And she said, yes. And then we talked, and she said, well, how much should I charge for this, Robert? And we talked about, she figured out a price for it, and it was a pretty hefty price tag. And they said, sure, that sounds fine. And she did that webinar. And then she said, could you do a webinar for all 300,000 of our customers? And she said, wow. And we're going to put it online. So blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, how do I, she was freaking out. How do I do that? And the rights for doing that. And she charged a pretty hefty fee for that as well. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was like $35,000 or something. It was a lot of money to do a webinar. And she put a lot of work and time into the webinar. She did, really created something powerful. And then since then, she's got 2 or 3 other projects, and she has enough business booked now that will last her to the end of the year. So from nothing to turning around, she created her ultimate outcome, her irresistible offer, her HEOB program, which is essentially a webinar. And she did this, sent more information, had a strategy session, made the offer, and she's off and running. Not only that, she always takes July off, and because she's doing so well, she decided to take July off anyway, so she's not even working this month. So that is what's possible when you follow a process like this. So strategy, packaging, focus, prospects, outreach, sales process, and delivery system. I'm not going to talk much about the delivery system right now. The thing that I want you to know about the delivery system, it doesn't have to be super high tech. Everybody can use Zoom. You're on Zoom now, right? Everybody uses emails. There's not a heck of a lot of really fancy things you need to do. So this is accessible for just about anybody who has a computer and uses a computer. So I want to tell you about the Marketing Action Group, in which I teach all of this in great depth. So the Marketing Action Group, here's my ultimate outcome for the Marketing Action Group. Attract more of your ideal clients for high-end programs or services delivered virtually that produce measurable, desirable results for your clients. So that's what I'm doing. That's what this program is. You will attract more ideal clients for high-end programs or services delivered virtually, and programs that produce measurable, desirable results for your clients. Look, if you take the last part of this off, attract more of your ideal clients for high-end programs or services delivered virtually, that who knows? I don't know if it produces results or not. That's not ethical. You want to have an ethical business practice. An ethical business practice delivers on the ultimate outcome. So I'm only happy if clients are selling services that really make a difference for their clients. So who is this for? It's for consultants, coaches, and trainers of all kinds, with a bit of a caveat. It really is for those offering business-to-business services of all kinds. It is not for business to individual. No, it can be, I have clients that work with very large corporations, medium-sized companies, small companies, and even individual independent professionals, but they're businesses. I have all those kinds of people in my programs, but I don't have massage therapists. I don't have fitness instructors. I don't have stores that, or retail or anything like that. So if you're offering a service, a professional service to a business, this program is appropriate for you. So it's a comprehensive 9-month program. It goes from September 2020, so it starts in about a month and a half or so, to May 2021. I'll talk about why 9 months in a minute. So the primary focus of this program is what I've been talking about. Number one, you develop your HEOB program, your high-end irresistible offer. 2, You develop a marketing action plan. What are the best outreach methods, or what are the things we have to do to get out there? We show you how to reach out to prospects and get meetings with prospects. Number 3 is the trickiest thing to do. It's a thing that people struggle with the most. And so I've had a lot of big breakthroughs on this in the last year or so. Big breakthroughs, more people getting more meetings with prospective clients than ever before, using some of the stuff I talked about earlier. Man, it's really powerful if you know what you're doing. Number 4, help you close more business, turn more of those meetings. So, it's an iterative process. You put your program together, you start getting your plan together, you start reaching out, you start closing more business, repeat and rinse over and over and over again, right? So there are 4 main components: group training sessions, one-to-one coaching sessions, marketing assignments, and accountability system. So let's look at all of those. The training is we meet twice a month as a group for training and coaching sessions. The sessions are from 75 to 90 minutes, depending on what we're covering that day and how much sharing people want to do, etc. Essentially how I do it is I present something, and I usually have a slide or a PDF of a strategy or a technique or whatever, and I'm talking about that and how it works in great depth. And then we open it up to conversation and questions and how-tos, and then the assignment. So about half the time presenting it and half the time is interactive. And then we have coaching sessions. Marketing coaching includes individual coaching and mentoring sessions once or twice a month. Now, I encourage people to meet with me twice a month. If you can't fit it in, once a month. The meetings are 45 minutes to an hour. Sometimes I go over. Nothing extra if you go over. And you know what? If you need more, I'll meet with you more. I've met some people 3 times a month. Robert, I just need more feedback on this, and I am here to serve you. I am not looking at the clock. I am turning myself inside out to give you everything I possibly can in that time, so you're clear about what to do next and how to do it. And then assignments. So after every group session and after every individual session, we have an assignment or an action plan. So participants receive assignments to take action after each training and coaching session. So they know what to do, and it's written out, and it's very clear, and there's no ambiguity. Okay, I know what I'm working on next. People really appreciate that because, if you take a virtual program and you're just watching videos and no one's holding you to account, the chances are good that you never finish the darn program. Here's the thing about our programs. Close to 100% of people finish my marketing action programs. Not 100%. Every once in a while, every other program, a person will drop out. It happens. But pretty much everybody completes these programs because of this personal attention and individual coaching and support. But there is more. We also provide accountability. So everyone reports weekly on Slack, the Slack app. Slack is a fantastic app. I wish I'd learned about it earlier and used it more, but it's like a private email system for everybody in the program. So I can go to their channel. I can see everything they've sent me and everything I've sent back to them. So, and it doesn't get lost in the shuffle of email. I just go to Slack and I see people that have posted something, and I read the reports and I give them feedback and I send them materials, and they send me their documents, and it's fantastic. So everyone reports weekly on Slack. And anytime they have a question, they can report on Slack or post a document that they want feedback on. So why 9 months? There are programs out there that cover a lot of the same things that I cover, and they're 2 or 3 months. So why have I decided on 9 months? That's a big commitment. I understand it's a long time. It's a long haul. But, when I asked that question, what do I have to put together to ensure results? What I came up with, originally is 12 months. Then I scaled it back to 9 months, and that still gets the results. So here's the thing. People have resistance to change. you're going in one direction, doing things you've already done, marketing the way you've already done, waiting for referrals, doing whatever you're doing. And we're doing a really big change. We're going in a different direction. We're going completely virtual. We're creating a new program that you've never done before. We're reaching out in ways you haven't done before. People have resistance to that. It's not it just doesn't happen in a snap. It's simple in so many ways, but that doesn't mean it's easy to start with. It takes some work. And people have a fear of doing it wrong. I mean, this is one that comes up over and over again. I'm not sure I'm sending out the right email. I have a guy that said, I worked 40 hours on that report. I said, if you work 40 hours on a report, that's not sustainable. You got to figure out how to do it in 2 or 3 or 4 hours. I know someone that put together a webinar and it took her 60 hours. This webinar took me a few hours, but it sure didn't take me 60 hours. It took me 7 or 8 hours for 50 slides. So, now I have it and I can do it again. But fear of doing it wrong, and people just, it has to be perfect. Perfection is the biggest enemy of marketing. You want to do it the best you can. And people need support and encouragement to keep going. I mean, you send out an email and people don't respond. You produce your program and people aren't interested, and you have to retool it. You talk to someone that you think is going to be the best client on planet Earth, and they say, no, it's not for me right now. And that can be disheartening and discouraging. And so being in the program for 9 months with the ups and downs, you stay in momentum, and it builds on your momentum. See, what happens in the program in the first few months, you develop your program, you start to reach out, you start to have conversations, you start to get momentum, and within 2-3 months and more, you start to get some good clients. And then now you can build on that momentum. You can make the program better. You can reach out more effectively. You can start to grow your email list. There's so many more things you can do. It's not just, okay, now you have the process, good luck, bye, sayonara, you're on your own. I'm with you for several months until you have so much momentum that you don't slow down. Never means you'll never slow down ever in your business, but you get the idea. That's why it's 9 months. So let's look at the value, the actual value of what I'm offering here. So there are 18 group training sessions, 2 a month for 9 months. So the value of that is, I figured, with not going over the top, you've probably seen people do this before, $150 for training session, I think, is reasonable. So that's worth $2,700. Then you have 18 group coaching sessions, individual one-on-one coaching sessions. Those are worth more. And this is what I charge clients when I work with people individually. And I don't work with a lot of people individually anymore, but it's $250 a session or $500 a month. So for 9 months, it's $4,500. Weekly feedback on Slack, I figured, well, $50 a month. I'm spending sometimes 20 minutes, 15 minutes or more. It's probably underdoing it. So that's for 36 weeks. So that's worth $1,800. But you also get recordings of all the sessions. And that's valuable as well. You'll have those for the rest of your life. You download them, put them on your computer. You can watch them and study them anytime you want. And I recommend doing that. That's another, really, let's make it really conservative, another $50 per video. Some people say, well, it's $1,000 a video. It's a little silly, I think, but it's worth at least $900 for those 18 videos. And finally, written materials and systems, just those alone are extraordinarily valuable. The documents of the how-tos and the steps and the processes and all of that, it's all in black and white for you to study. And that's worth another at least $750. So what's this all worth when you add it all up? Well, total is $10,650. That's what this program is worth. I'd say minimum. So if you only worked with me individually, That would be $4,500 for 9 months. So you're getting, so $4,500 a month, plus you add all the other stuff and it's $10,650. But you know it's not going to cost $10,650, right? No. I've priced it at $4,500. In other words, the same price it would cost you just to work with me individually for 9 months. Plus you get everything else. You get the group support, the training sessions, the weekly feedback, recordings, all the systems, everything. You know, it's really rare that I work with somebody individually and I cover nearly as much material and go in as much depth and detail and all that stuff that I do on a group program. Not nearly as much, but it costs as much. So that's the value. So when I work with clients, it's really a partnership. I get to know people. I know what they do. I get to like them. It's really a friendship and a partnership. So because we'll be working very closely for 9 months, I need to make sure you're a good fit for the program and you feel it's right for you. You know, in other words, we need to talk. And you might say, hey, I think it might be for me. I'm not sure, Robert, but and I want to find out a little bit about your situation, what your business is, and you know who you're selling to right now, and we'll see if it's a fit. And it's not for everybody. So we'll set up a time to talk. So I also want you to know that I offer a guarantee in this program. And a lot of programs like this do not offer guarantees, but here it is. You must generate twice as much money as you invest in the program, or I'll continue to work with you at no extra fee until you do. No kidding, that's my guarantee. So $4,500 for the program. And by the way, the $4,500 is not payable all at once. I do monthly payments. Sure makes it a lot easier. I do monthly payments of $500. So you must generate twice as much money as you invest in the program, or I'll continue to work with you at no extra fee until you do. Does this happen? Once in a while. Not very often. People have usually, with 1 or 2 clients, just think $4,500. It's hard to sell a business program to a company that's less than that. Maybe in some cases, but 2 or 3 programs and you've paid for the program. So that almost always happens. But if it doesn't, I'll work with you individually, coaching and by email and stuff until you do. You know, I'm trying to do everything I can so that doesn't happen. That's why I pull out all the stops and do everything we do in this program so that you get the result that I promise. But we have one other thing, and nobody does this. This is a thing I'm doing for the first time. I want to offer this to you to start the program with 0 risk. Absolutely 0 risk. And this is how we do it. You let me know if you're interested. Then meet with me, have a conversation to see if there's a fit. Then attend the first month free with no obligation to continue. No kidding. Look, the reason I did this with COVID-19, with coronavirus, with company, all this stuff happening, you know, you're also in the place where you don't want to risk jumping into something and spending money that isn't going to produce results for you. So I asked myself, how can I reduce the risk to 0 for people to check it out? And I came up with this. It's a pretty simple concept. So what you do is you sign up. After you sign up and you sign a participation agreement, this is what I'll do, very simple. Then I send you preparation work and I look at your marketing message and what you're doing in your marketing now. I want to really understand what you're doing so I can help you. And then you come to the first session with all the other people there. Everyone will be in the same boat as you. And man, I've got to really deliver in this first month. And after the first month, you'll have 2 sessions. You'll do 1 one-on-one session with me. If you really need a second one, I'll do it, but most people will do 1 session. That's enough for this. You'll do 4 assignments and you'll report on Slack 8 times in that 1 month. You'll have a lot of activity. You'll get if the program is for you or not, whether you like me, the other participants, whatever. And if at that point you go, man, it's not for me, I'll say thank you for taking the time to put into it. Good luck to you, and we'll go our separate ways. Of course, I'm hoping the majority decide to stay for the rest of the program. And at that point, you would pay the fee for the next month, and we'd continue with the program, rock and roll, and make it happen. So, look, what do you got to lose, right? This is really one of the few times I've offered anything like this, and I think I'm really excited about it. So, the fee for a month, free for a month, 2 training sessions, one-on-one coaching, 3 marketing assignments, 4 weekly reports, as I just said. You must participate fully. This is the only caveat about this. So if you come into the program and if you don't participate fully, I will remove the opportunity to participate in the paid program. So if you miss a session, after all, there's only 2 live ones, and you don't meet with me personally, you don't do reports, I'm going to tell you before you tell me you can't be in this program. You know, and you as someone in the program want other people that are participating fully, right? We want to be in a cohort of people that are on the same path, in the same game, committed to getting the same result. So if you don't participate fully in this free section, you're gone. I wish you well. So here's the question. Are you interested? And if you are interested, here's what I invite you to do. Send me an email right now at action@actionplan.com and put in the subject line, I'm interested. And then I'll send you a link to my appointment app. We'll set up a time to talk. I'll send you a little bit more information. Then we'll see if it makes sense for you to start in the program for free for the first month in September. And the first 20 people to do that, we got 40 on the call. I'm sure not everyone's going to sign up, but the first 20 people who sign up for a meeting with me and choose to start the free month, I'll mail you a free copy of my Unstuck process book. So the way it'll work is we'll set up the meeting, we'll talk, and immediately after the meeting, whether you sign up or not, I'll send you a copy of this free book. This is one of the best pieces of writing I've done, and it's a really useful piece to help you get unstuck with whatever you're stuck with. So if you're interested, send me an email right now. So what we're going to do right now, so it's action@actionplan.com. What we're going to do is stop the sharing. Escape. Everybody's still here? Everybody? Okay, so it all came through. Great. So what I want to do is I want to open it up to questions about the program. So any questions that you may have, this is the time to ask those questions. Just unmute yourself and let's go. And while we're doing this, if you want to get a meeting with me, send me an email to action@actionplan.com. Don't wait on that.
So, Robert, just to clarify, we do meet with you once a month, correct? Is that what I heard you say?
You need to what?
No, I didn't say that. I said we meet with you one-on-one as part of the full program. Is that correct? Once a month?
Yes.
Okay.
Twice a month.
Okay.
Once a month if you don't want to do twice a month, if you can't fit it in every time. Or more if you need it. I'm here to support you. I'm here to make it work for you.
Robert, what is the monthly fee?
500.
500, okay.
After the first month. So Ken, this is essentially the same program you're in now. So you can't be in 2 programs at once because it would overlap. Ken is going, yeah, I want to be in both programs.
Well, I think it would be quite interesting to simply carry on.
Well, You can do that in the spring when we do our next program. You take a break, and if you want to continue after that, you can continue. Because we start a program in the fall and the spring every year. That's how we do it. So they kind of overlap. But you can't be in two at once. That would not work. No way you could do that.
Question, Robert, what were the dates you had up there again?
September through May. And I believe that it's on Thursdays, and I believe it's going to be on the first and third Thursdays. Let me just check here. Yeah, first and third Thursdays for most of the sessions.
Okay. The same time of day?
Yeah, it's 12 noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay. I just sent you an email.
Okay, fantastic. So, you have to ask yourself a few questions, Am I business-to-business service, number one? Number two is, do I have enough business and I would like to get more? Do I have all the things you talked about? An HEOB program, I'm able to get together with people, I'm good at closing. If you could be better at any of those, it's at least, by the way, in the first month, we're not going to cover crummy stuff. We're going to cover some of the best stuff. We're going to get into, and you will create your HEOB program in the first month. I'm giving away a lot. I'm taking a risk here. You will start reaching out to people and getting meetings in the first month. So you won't develop your whole marketing plan and everything else, but you'll go into action pretty damn quickly.
Robert, before we pivoting, this is Jennifer. I've been through some of your programs before, and you're amazing. But I'm sort of like pivoting kind of on some things. Obviously, the virus has caused that to happen, but I have some things that have been like on the back burner that I'm saying, okay, this is probably the perfect opportunity to explore whether they should come off the back burner or just disappear. So if I'm in a bit of chaos, do I need to be more organized in my thinking to get into to really benefit from the program, or will the program help me out of my chaos?
Well, it'll help you out of your chaos, and the preparation work will help you out of your chaos and get clarity right away. There's no such thing as 100% clarity. I still have chaos every once in a while. What am I going to do? I'm going to do this. I don't have a problem with chaos. I just come back to present moment and see what's next,
So if I'm a hot mess, we'll find that out in the first month, and you'll say this program's not for you.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll find out in the 30-minute session. So, set up a time, we'll have a chat, and we'll see. I have a pretty good sense of talking to people whether this is right for them. And I can't manipulate people into doing something well, I could, but I can't ethically do it. And I've gotten people into programs in the past that I wish that I had not signed up for the damn program. Because they're too full of problems, too full of issues, too full of I can'ts, too full of it's too hards. Now, I can work with all that stuff, but, I want people that are, you've been set back by COVID-19, you want to make a better income, but, you can take action. You can't, I don't want someone who's manic depressive, for instance, in the course. Please.
Robert?
I'm not a psychologist. I'm pretty good at helping people getting unstuck, but I am not a psychologist, a professional psychologist. Who's sharing?
Yes, I am. Charles.
Hi, Charles.
Hi, everybody. Robert, two things. One, I'm certainly interested, so I'll send you an email. Two, I think it's a good lesson for all of us on what we offer, in terms of the 1 month, because I think that's good thinking on your part, and bang, in 1 month, one idea for any of us could make us $5,000. Like, hello, just one idea. And I think, I'm setting up a new group quest on passion and self-awareness, which is my brand for 27 years. That's what I've been doing. And I'm happy, I'm happy to invite someone in for a month. Hey, experience as you do, as we experience you through this. And I think so all of us can, follow this model. You don't have to go, give me the money first and then I'll give it back to you. No, you don't have to do that. And I think you're right. If you select the right person, that's such a big difference in who we work with, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And a question in our meeting I'll ask is, if the program feels good after a month, I'm going to ask, will you be able to continue and pay the fee? If they say, well, I'm hoping I get enough business from the first session, then I can pay it, it's probably not for you. That might happen. I can't go into your bank account and see how much you can afford, but I want people that, if it's good, if I like it, if I feel I'm moving in the right direction, I'm pretty sure I'll do it. But I'm not, I don't want someone to say, well, I'll just go in and take a month, get what I get and bop out, and then I'll share all this information with somebody else. I mean, let's have integrity with this.
And I think there's one other important thing that I've been over the 27 years that I've been doing this work.
Yeah.
And Tony Robbins does this very well. What is the thing, and in the fearless marketing you've been talking about, what is the one thing that's going to give each one of us the breakthrough? And it's different for each one of us.
Yes.
The breakthrough that takes us to that next level. And I reckon, there's no doubt you have the ability for most of us to identify a breakthrough.
Well, you know what I believe in, Charles? I believe in mini breakthroughs. I've done a lot of webinars, but this offer of the free month is a mini breakthrough.
Nice.
It's not a big thing. It didn't take me 500 hours to figure it out. But, it was sort of based on everything and, reading the Outrageously Marketing book and blah, blah, blah. It just popped into my head. So, when you are in a program and you're being bombarded with a lot of ideas, it stimulates the gray matter. As Hercule Poirot said, the little gray cells, right? They start moving in ways that they didn't move before. We think we know it all. We think we have it together. And then you read a book or you have a conversation with someone and you go, that's a good idea. Maybe I should try that. And, many of you have done that already. So that's what's possible in a program like this.
Nice. Eugene Prigogine, I think it was, wasn't it? He was the one that he got a Nobel Prize for his theory on organizing, on popping through to new levels.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. But, I hear it all the time. Someone says, well, Robert, what you said on that last session is something I really hadn't thought of before, and blah, 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 and and then something happens new. And it's exciting. And it's, and then they take action and do something that they'd never done before. Or something they know. This is one that I think is important. People have come to me all the time. This is one of my favorite stories. Someone came to me, this was years ago, where I started my business in San Francisco. It sometimes shocks me how long I'd been in the same business teaching similar things. Anyway, she said, Robert, I'm a business writer and I need new clients and I will not network. I hate to network. I will not get out there and meet people. I said, okay, what else? He says, and I will not call people, cold call people. I will not pick up the phone. So what can I do? And I said, well, tell me a little bit more about your business. Tell me what you're thinking about. And she says, well, I have an idea. I said, tell me. He said, the idea is I have a Siberian Husky named Matumbo. And my idea is to send mailings with pictures of Matumbo on the mailings. Now, a lot of marketing consultants would say, oh, that's kind of a dumb idea. That's kind of off the wall. I asked the right question. I said, tell me about Matumbo. I'm interested, tell me, I don't know, what's up? And she talked to me for about half an hour about this amazing Siberian Husky that was so smart and so beautiful and so photogenic and da. And I say, Sounds like a great idea. Let's work together and I'll help you create the strategy to do that. So we did, and she and her husband happened to be a graphic designer and a photographer, and she took these amazing pictures of Matumbo. Not only that, I wasn't prepared for this, but I've never done this or haven't done it in a long time. She did these mailings. I got a couple of them right here. So it says, need a writer who can cook up great ideas. And this is two of them. Overwhelmed by a massive project or buried in paper. Clever, smart marketing. So look, I didn't even develop the graphics for this. She came up with the ideas. She did all the writing. And we would meet every couple of weeks about what her progress was and how she was doing. And she did this for 3 years. Did it work? Well, she got little clients like the Bank of America and stuff like that. So that was a breakthrough, and this happened 25 years ago or more. So the potential for things happening is great. And so often you have an idea and you've been afraid to do it. So basically, she paid me to give her permission to do what she wanted to do anyway, and supported her in making it happen. I try to dig ideas out of people, because if it's your idea, you already have a lot of ideas and connections and associations and stuff about that, so it can create faster momentum. So I might say, webinars are a really good strategy for marketing. I can show you my webinar. I can show you what works and didn't work, but what's your idea for a webinar? What would you like to do? And some people say, well, I was thinking of doing a webinar where I was doing something outrageous, some wacky, crazy. They say, well, why not try it? It might work. Let's look at the components of it. Let's look at what we're covering. It's not for entertainment, just entertainment. It needs to engage them.
And Robert, there's another important thing that you bring to the table, that each one of us brings to the table. I was a lawyer for 20 years before I changed career.
That's quite a change from being a lawyer to what you're doing now.
To being a passion provocateur. I'm shocked that it's 27 years of this. I'm also heavily involved with industrial hemp, but in my coaching and speaking, as a lawyer, the first body of knowledge that was available on the internet was the law. All the law is available, all on the internet. So why on earth would anyone require a lawyer?
Yeah, really.
Why? It's all there.
It's a good point.
And a lawyer has the ability to apply what's relevant to you to all of this body of law, just like you have that from your skill, all of the marketing stuff. You can say, no, for you with this idea, this is the go. And I think that's the other thing you bring to all of us bring to the table each time. So it's a false idea that all the information is on the internet anyway. So that's my point.
Well, it's a good thing and a bad thing. When I'm learning a program, I learn it through Google searches. I start doing it. I said, how do you do this? I Google search and I can find it in a second. That's great. That can work. But when it comes to some things, it's a little more complicated. How do you really make this work? So you can find 100 articles on how to get appointments with people. But which one really works?
Yep.
Man, I've gone through a lot of that stuff. Wow.
Yep.
So, any other questions before we wrap up today? Mo, got any questions? I can tell you've been listening.
Yeah, I'm also changing careers. I'm trying to become a professional coach. So I'm in a program now by the International Coaching Federation to become a coach in about another year or so. And I'm actually coaching people now, but not for money, but just to practice. So,
yeah,
this is something of interest because, in a year's time, or even sooner than that, I definitely want to be able to attract
Yeah.
more clients. And yeah, absolutely.
Look, you know what? I know coaches that make $400,000 a year, and I know coaches that can't pay the rent. And most coaching schools do not teach you how to market. They don't know anything about marketing. The information they give you would fit into a thimble and rattle around. It's not usually very useful. There probably are some exceptions, but there's too many coaches and not enough coaches that know how to get clients.
Yep.
So when you're ready, I would say the program now is not right for you, but maybe next year it will be. You know, why not start with a bang and really figure out something at a higher end that can really make a good living for you?
Yeah, actually, one of the things that we do, part of the coaching practice that I'm in right now, or training that I'm in, is that you are supposed to have so many hours of coaching before you get your certification.
Sure.
So we have to actually practice our craft
Sure.
before we go out there, But definitely, I feel maybe in a few months I would be in a position to actually charge money for my coaching.
Yeah.
So, and my coaching is for small businesses, business owners, and small businesses. That's my focus, business focus, rather
Right.
than individual. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely more money there. That's for sure. And
Exactly.
longer term projects, etc.
Exactly.
You know, my good friend Patrick Summer, met him in San Francisco. In fact, he was my roommate in San Francisco in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just starting his coaching practice, and he was charging $25 an hour back then.
What year was this?
In the 90s.
Oh, okay.
He was charging kind of under market back then. Now he charges his clients a minimum of $2,500 a month. And he does about $350,000 worth of business a year. So, and he's done my programs. I've helped him a lot. So we talk a lot still. We're still good friends. And so it's possible. It
Good.
took him a little time to get up to that.
Yeah.
He bought a $800,000 house in Los Angeles.
Wow.
He's doing pretty well. So the potential is great for professional service businesses.
Yeah.
So
I come from the IT world, and I do coaching in the IT world, and we make good money in that.
Yep.
But definitely, I'd like to pivot into more executive coaching, small business owner coaching, more in that area, and I also do individual coaching. So that I do that as well. So it's personal coaching, professional coaching, both.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Mo. Thanks for attending.
Thank
So
you.
anyone else? Chris has been listening attentively, laughing at all my jokes, which is great. It's nice to have somebody that's smiling. Got any comments, Chris, or anything you want to say? Got to unmute yourself. Put the mouse over. There you go.
Yeah. Hi, Robert.
Hi.
I don't know if you remember, but I once did a workshop with you in London in 2005, 2-day workshop. And we met once at the New Year's Mental Plans with Byron Katie, like in 2005, 6, something like that. And I've been on your list for like 10 years. Then I canceled, and then like a few weeks ago I resubscribed.
So what are you doing now? What are you doing?
Well, actually, I changed my business during the coronavirus. I had a business connecting difference for the last 12 years. And now I'm in a new business. It's basically for, I call it authentic entrepreneurs, like who want to change the world and who want to figure out what they exactly want and how to proceed. Okay. And who want to go from survival level to financial freedom.
Okay, good.
But
you just have to focus that down into a killer ultimate outcome. But I get the direction.
Yeah, this is my marketing message. It's not about the result of the problem, but yeah. And I was more from like nostalgic reasons that I wanted to be in this program because I like you and I wanted to feel the atmosphere. And I'm in 2 programs for the year right now in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. So I'm not at the moment. I'm not your prospect because I'm in 2 very heavy programs, and I'm also need to finish my current business from September to December to wrap it up with my current colleague. And so I just wanted to be in this hour for some time, and I love to be there.
Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate you coming, and good luck in your business.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You know, one of the people in one of my programs right now is from the Netherlands. I love working with that guy. He's a great guy.
Great.
I've worked with a number of people in the Netherlands, England, Spain, South Africa over the years.
Yeah, it's nice to reconnect with you. Also, while there's also an issue, I mean, I will write my stuff in Dutch, so that's a little bit of a barrier, you know? I mean, because I need to retranslate it all over and over, so that's not very handful. Very practical.
We found a way to do that. You can run
I know.
You can run it through Google Translate, and I can give you.
Yeah, feedback. I know. Yeah,
and I don't worry about it being grammatically perfect.
Now, today I was here just to listen and be there.
Right. Okay, Chris. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else brave enough to share or ask a question before we wrap up? The guy from the P4P Institute is smiling. Do you want to? I don't know what your name is. There he is.
My name is Joel.
Joel?
Yes. Okay. I was smiling when you said brave enough to share something.
Right. Okay. Now you're sharing. Got a question?
Okay. In particular, I am in the business advisory. I work with organizations to understand their systems, their business processes, understand why it's not working, why its businesses are not growing, understand their people issues and people concerns.
Okay.
So I get paid to learn how your business works, and hopefully at the end of the learning, I assist you to improve, more efficient, more effective, and then grow.
Okay, good. So where do you live?
Nigeria.
I thought I detected a Nigerian accent. That's an interesting place. Are you a Fela Kuti fan?
No.
Not a Fela Kuti fan?
Not my kind of music.
Fela Kuti is the most famous Nigerian musician of all time. I own 40 of his albums.
Wow.
Love his music. It's great stuff. Anyway.
I've already sent you an email, so most probably I'll follow up and see how this works.
Okay.
Right?
I'm willing to explore.
To see what could be learned, what could be added to improve whatever processes exist already here.
Okay, great. I've never had a client in Nigeria, so I'm open to anything.
All right, no troubles. Thanks a lot.
Okay, and Marcia Sims is one of the few people I'm seeing. You know, you've been in my programs before. You're not really selling business to business, but you're hanging on and getting good ideas anyway. Thanks for being here, Marcia.
Well, thank you, but I am selling business to business. It's about 50-50, but
it is.
Yes, and okay. But I keep inviting people because I think you're fantastic. I have 2 people on the call today that I invited. I'm very proud that they came.
Great, thank you very much.
Very welcome. I think you're phenomenal. You know that.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you. So I want to thank you all for attending. Again, if there's any last hangers on. Oh, there's your daughter. Hey there. What a sweetie. Any last hangers on, if you want to meet with me, just send me an email saying I'm interested, and I'll send you an email back to link to my calendar, and we'll go from there. Thank you, everybody. Good luck, and we'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Robert.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.